that's what I used to think was really cool when I was a little kid. I was like, man, I wish I was like these homeless people. Hi, my name is Ellannah Sadkin and I'm an artist, and this is my work, some of it. I think like growing up when I was young in New York was what got me into graffiti, and London didn't have much, and I was like in the countryside as well, and that didn't have any graffiti, so like New York was what got me interested in graffiti. I used to go and sit in Washington Square Park when I was a kid and watch the homeless guys, and they had like the craziest outfits on. There was like a guy who dressed as a caveman, and I was like, who are these amazing people and how come they don't have to be like everybody else, you know? And that's what I used to think was really cool when I was a little kid. I was like, man, I wish I was like these homeless people. New York, I think, has really helped inspire me in that way, yeah. When I'm in the studio, I like listening to like ghost stories, true crime. It helps pass the time, and I also feel like I'm learning stuff when I'm creating. The ghost stories like help me get in like a zone, because it's kind of like the way they're told and you don't have to pay too much attention, but it kind of, it's really cozy in here when it's like falling, all the leaves are falling, and you get to listen to a ghost story and paint. It's like my favorite thing ever. I come here like a few days a week. I like to go on like a bunch of different walks to keep it interesting. This is one of the most convenient and beautiful walks around, so I like walking by the river a lot. I did these like circular paintings. Some of them you can see behind me, and I have others in my other studio, and they were kind of made to represent like the moods I would go through creating work. So like I start like with an anxiety, and then you get into this middle ground of where you feel like calm and it's all going right. It's like the neurons connect. I wanted to represent that in the painting, you know, like this is actually how creativity looks. Art is like the safest place for me, and everything else is the terrifying, you know? So like I feel comfortable in my studio, but going to the store, like I'm like, well, what if I have a car crash? I used to have terrible anxiety attacks just getting in the car to go anywhere, like leaving the property. So it was like everything else in my life was stressful, but to me it was like super healing to do that, and it's actually helped with my anxiety a lot. I was friends with Cause, and I wanted to be his assistant, and I met him when I was about 19 and he'd already hired someone, so he gave me a chance like a few years later at being his assistant, and so I went to his studio and he's like, can you do this for me? And I was like, okay, and I was really nervous, so I didn't do it very well, and he like fired me really quickly. But I'm actually happy that I'm not an assistant. You know, I'm like happy that I'm doing my own work, and I think if I had been like an assistant, I wouldn't have got to progress with my own work. So I think I kind of try and look at things through a child's eyes. So like if a kid can like have fun with it, or if it can make them happy, like, you know, like a candy store is like super exciting when you're a kid, and there's all these colours and swirly things and stuff, and I like kind of want to recreate that kind of vibe when you're a kid at a candy store and you're just like, oh, this is awesome, you know? So if I can go and make adults feel like that again, because when we get older we like lose that kind of awe, like I'd love to do that.